Yo, hey everyone who is
Hey,
live or after the fact. Thank you so much for joining all of us. So, live on the stream today, we've got Dustin Prince, Michael Emery, and Sam Logan Khaleghi. If I've pronounced that,
Khaleghi. Sam Logan Khaleghi, yes.
oh, sorry, Sam.
But
Uh,
however you want to pronounce it, I'm fine. No,
well,
I'm serious, actually.
awesome. Well, these awesome guys have been kind enough to join me. So, firstly, guys, over in America, happy Thanksgiving, and thank you for taking the time out of your busy lives to spare this and talk about an intrusion. Really excited to talk to you guys about the movie. And yeah, I believe an intrusion comes out tomorrow in America in selected theaters and on demand.
It does. We're stoked. I think we're all of us are from a completely different state too. So
Okay.
I think Dustin's doing a big Arkansas show. For everyone in England who wants to know that's what an Arkansas accent's going to sound like. It is the most. And by the way, this guy's accent right here, I'm going to say he can go into any. If he didn't have a family, he could go to any bar in America and just pick anyone up. I'm just letting you know that the moment that man starts speaking. So Emery and I are just so jealous of his He's like
we don't have that
charming Southern sort of thing.
I don't know. Michael's pretty good. He's a pretty good actor. He could figure it out.
Right.
Or we'll just do our English accents. We just speak in our.
Yeah, we should all just pick an accent and just do it.
Just do your
Right.
do your RP, man. Mike's classically trained.
Well, personally, I'm not very good at accents, so I'll just stick to the one that I know.
Did you see that? I want everyone, by the way, I'll say it for you. Everyone smash the like button, smash subscribe to this man's channel. Did you see that? I know I did.
Yeah, you did, man, and thank you very much for that as well. And honestly, really, really appreciate just again you guys being here and the support. So, for anyone that doesn't know, I got an early screener to see an intrusion that comes out tomorrow on selected theaters on video demand by Gravitas Ventures. So they were kind enough to send me the screener, and yeah, I just for anyone who hasn't seen the review, I did give it a C plus, which means my scoring system is 7.5 to 7.9, so pretty high rating. I know you guys. Because I was speaking to Sam before this, and he said that's technically like a failure grade. Is that right?
In America, if you get a C plus, you're just taking the class again. So I guess we have to go reshoot the movie. Mike wants us to reshoot the movie. No.
Just do it again.
It's probably my fault. I should have not played. Billy Boyd should have played Chris. That's what should have really happened. So
Right. No, but honestly, I honestly loved the movie, and I loved you guys in your respective roles in the movie, which we're going to talk about. But just going to give everyone a bit of a heads up. I'm not going to be talking about spoilers in the movie because there's certainly some things that happen which I don't want to spoil for anyone or discuss.
Well, then I can't say anything. Then I don't know why I'm here.
But we will get to you, Michael, and we'll kind of touch around it a little bit in
it's all good
way. So for you guys, so first I want to start it off by saying that this movie is directed by Nicholas Holland. And have any of you guys worked with Nicholas Holland before?
It's funny because even though we're, Nick and I have become we literally become this sort of, a filmmaking duo that you can't really separate. And he's kind of a best friend that I want to say that I call at least 14 times a day. I told his wife, Hannah, and I was like something because I've passed the guest list situation. Now I just walk right into the house, and we live only a few miles from each other, which is just like it's amazing to think that, I was kind of like, what did I do before Nick Holland? So to Nick out there, I know you're watching, one of the most amazing screenwriters, one of the most amazing directors, one of the most talented people. He doesn't give himself enough credit. So I'm going to give him he is so good at what he does. And I think it's because of everything he experiences in life. He's about to become a dad pretty soon. Congratulations. So I'm looking forward to we're all looking forward to seeing our nephew pretty soon, Nick. So Uncle Dustin's got some good gifts, I'm sure.
He already got golf clubs. He got golf clubs from Uncle Dustin already.
Yeah. But yeah, we hadn't worked. The funny thing is, even though we're all so close right now, and there's this camaraderie, we hadn't really all. It's kind of an intrusion was the sort of the freshman project for everyone to. It was like the first class kind of thing coming together. So.
Oh, awesome. Well, it's really cool that you guys have like over time built up that friendship with Nicholas and that he's going to become a dad. So again, Nicholas, congratulations from my side as well. So I want to talk to you guys a little bit about the behind the scenes of an intrusion and how it all came around. So I know you've all respectively had some kind of like producing credits in the past. And so we'll start with Dustin and we'll kind of work our way around to Michael and then Sam. So Dustin, this character, you play Sam Hodges in An Intrusion. And going to your kind of like past filmography and then coming into this role. So you play a character essentially who just no one likes. Let's face it, the audience wants to hate this character for some of the actions that happens.
I don't even like the guy. I don't even like him.
So how did you prep for this role? Because I've heard that you're such a great guy, and I don't doubt that for a second, but how did you take that, impressions that people love you and then turn that into a character that no one wants to root for?
Well, I think as an actor, I think it was really fun to play a character like that because it's not really how you can act in real life. So right. It was like all those things that you think about when you read the script and you think, wow, this is really going to be fun to play because you can't get away with stuff like this in real life. So it was really cool to play that. And honestly, I don't really want to give myself too much credit. I think pretty much anyone could be an asshole if they really wanted to. So it's just just go for it. Just be as big of a prick as you possibly can and just go with it. And that's what I did.
I love that at the premiere he had to acknowledge on stage. He's like, "Listen, I'm not him. So don't surprise me. I'm a nice dude."
Yep.
It's just.
There were people that really didn't want to come up to me and shake my hand because they were like, "I hate this freaking guy."
Wow,
like, that's
how great of a job he did.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome.
Concerned. Just real quick, I'm concerned about my wife and my kids watching it because they're not going to want to go back to the house with me. Really concerned.
Well, hopefully they do. And Michael, how about you? So you play a character called Devin, which, again, I'm not going to touch on what your involvement is in the movie, but how did you prepare for that role? And off screen, did you do some practice scenes with Dustin?
No. So I've known Sam for about 8 years, and Sam's incredible. Yeah. Probably the best producer I know. We were supposed to do a what was that? A clown film? Remember that? Like a long time ago? Like a remember that?
That's how we met. You know, like you do these movies that don't ever happen. There was someone had pitched us this like killer clown film that I know it sounds ridiculous. That's
crazy.
It actually had it could have been cool, but it never happened, and maybe that's a good thing. But
that's how Sam and I got connected, and we started talking and built this relationship. I was living in Los Angeles at the time. And that was back in 2011 or 12. And but yeah, so there was a role, Devin, and I think another actor was supposed to play that part.
Okay.
And then he fell out, and then Sam called me and he was like, "Yo, I got this incredible role. It's a killer script. Do you want to put yourself on tape for it?" So I read a couple scenes, sent it over to Sam. Like a day, 2 later, him and Nick got back to me and I got the part, and I just dove into it head first, got the script, started reading it. I did a whole backstory for Devin. I'm not going to go into it really, but I wrote a diary. I write diaries for every character that I play. So, I don't know how much I could say, but someone who lost a lot in his life. I just made up scenarios in my mind of how I would feel at that moment. And I was going through a really dark time at the time I was doing this part. Sam knows what I was going through. So it was a really dark, rough period of my life. So it wasn't that hard to kind of just use all of my life experience into that part. But then I got to Michigan and I met Dustin, and him and I hit it off like immediately. I met him at the bar, at some bar. Like we were just rehearsing.
Ironically.
Ironically. Yeah. And he had this sweater on, and I was like, "Oh, this guy's cool." So we just started talking, and then he had his own car. I think he rented a car. They gave him a car or whatever. We were just driving around all of Michigan together. We stopped at that castle, remember? Yep. We took pictures and we went grocery shopping together. Mind you, this is all the same day that I shot. So we were wow. completely bonded. He has a beautiful wife and kids. He's a family man. He's an incredible actor. I mean, it was just a very easy, smooth transition into myself, because it's awkward, you show up to a set, you have to just dive in, but it wasn't at all with these guys. And knowing Sam for a while, and then meeting Nick was he wrote this beautiful script with so many elements of drama and comedy, and my heart was racing when I saw it at the Chelsea Film Festival. It was crazy. So it was just such a beautiful script, and the story and the character. So I was just eager to dive in.
It's hard because I can tell that Mike wants to say because so much for the audience out there that's going to either watch this movie streaming or in theaters this weekend, or if you iTunes, Amazon, all that stuff go through, or wait for DVD or Blu-ray, whatever that might be. So much of Mike's character is there in the first and second act in spirit. But in the third act, it really and it's really tough to how do you not say what it is? Because in New York, when Mike showed up on screen and revealed who his character was to the story at whole, there was a gasp. I remember it was the whole audience was like, "What?"
Yeah,
what? And that's a testament. I mean, Dustin and Mike scene together in that bar reminded me. I mean, I don't mean to sound trite, forgive me. All right. But it kind of reminded me in a moment of, and then they're both, and I love these two so much, but it reminded me of and again, I'm not meaning to sound kind of and blow smoke up, but it reminded me of the Pacino De Niro scene in Heat, the two guys talking.
Yeah.
I mean, that's literally because here's two actors I really respect with two completely different styles. Dustin is just so natural, and he's him, and he is this debonair kind of and then Mike is like an actor's actor. Like, for everybody who's in England watching this, Mike Emery should be at the RSC, performing Antony and Cleopatra or something. That's how serious of an actor he is. And so, and you get these two completely different styles and put them right next to each other, and you're just watching, you're just camera's rolling. I'm like, so I just had to fill in for you, Mike.
Yeah. So, thank you. No, I appreciate it, man. Yeah.
That's why he's not giving so much away. I just want to.
Yeah.
Well, I think you guys did all a pretty good job of explaining Mike's role without spoiling it. And yeah, man, I think well, thank you for just kind of explaining a little bit about the backstory of how we went into your character and what you were going through at the time of filming the role for Devin. And I think, some of that tension really plays into that bar scene. Again, I can't say what it is. I'd love to, but I'm not going to. But yeah, no, honestly, awesome acting throughout. And Sam, about yourself. So you play a character called Chris, and you're essentially Dustin's boss in the movie, or kind of colleague.
Yeah. I came aboard as a producer initially. Nick and I chatted, and I just come off a film, and he had just come off a film where we were both, to be blunt, there were factors that adversely affected what our original visions were for those aforementioned films. I mean, we weren't completely dissatisfied, but movies, as there's 30 cooks in the kitchen sometimes after the director does a job, and then you're like, did they re-edit an edit of a re-edit that someone else and then someone else in marketing showed up and then they edit? Okay. Right. And then we said, hey, why don't we do a movie where we kind of really try to take control, and I focus on the producing thing, and you focus on directing the best version of the film that you wrote. And as a lot of people don't know what a producer does versus a director. So the best way I try to explain it is I build the kitchen. I'm the architect of the kitchen and I go out and buy all the groceries, right? And then Nick is the chef, and he actually cooks with whatever I could get, and he cooked up something really great with these amazing actors in it. But in the midst of all that, I said, hey, there's this character. Can I play this part? I was trying to do something that was a little different than the stoic sort of nature of what I had previously acted in. And the producer didn't have to audition, I guess. Yeah. And I really, I was so elated and thrilled that I got to be able to, in the same sense, when you're on screen with people like Dustin, and you're on screen with, everyone in that film, from Scout to and Scout Taylor Compton and Billy Boyd and Kieran Gilchrist and Jaime Zavalos, who's also not here right now, but another fellow New Yorker with Mike. I mean, these guys, we were so lucky that everyone said yes.
Great actor.
And these guys are all brilliant talent. So it was like a summer stock theater kind of thing behind the scenes. We all actually had a lot of fun.
Awesome.
It was the only thing we argued about was I think I ordered fish one day on pizza. Everyone's like, what? But no, there wasn't your usual. Everyone really had a fun time. I mean, it felt like touring theater, but like if we were just touring theater in England or something. That's what it felt like behind the scenes for all of us. And I think it's so I know I should be talking about Chris and the role and everything, but there's so much of that role could not have been. I couldn't have felt the freedom to do it without these guys, in these quadrants beneath me right here that are. I mean, everyone just did such a. It was just fun.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Oh no, definitely, yeah, and it's really cool to hear that behind the scenes that you guys all got along, and it was like a pleasant experience. And this is what I've tend to found in kind of interviews I've done before with first time directors or small crew, or they've had maybe 1 or 2 weeks to shoot a full feature length film. They have a good bond between all of them because you in this together and you're creating this like passion project. And one thing I want to just quickly ask Dustin and Sam as well. So Dustin, you might be able to help answer this one. So you and Sam have a scene in a restaurant where you get a phone call, it all kind of like heats up and stuff like that, and etc. I'm not going to go into what happens next. But in that scene, you're having drinks and you're having food. I want to know, was that food prepped right then and you're like action, shoot it like while it's hot, eating that food, or was it the drinks were poured hours ago and you're like, just take a sip kind of thing, or what happened there?
No, that was. Go ahead, Sam.
No. Go ahead, Dustin. I was just.
No, that was prepared right then, and yeah, that's real stuff. And it's funny. I think one of the scenes, Erica, my wife, was next to me, and it was maybe those little salad nuts or whatever, and she was trying to get one on her fork, and when she pressed down on it, it like flew across and hit me like in the face, and that she's Canadian, so she doesn't really understand. I guess they have those kind of things up there.
Yeah.
She's watching. I'm just kidding.
Oh my God, that whole scene, Madison Merlanti, she was great in that too. That was a fun scene, but we actually, true story, you talking about the food, I got to make a comment about we drank a lot of wine. That was that was a lot of red wine getting poured. So,
I was already drunk before the scene started, so
that was a fun scene to shoot because we really,
that was a great scene.
Nick talked about that scene quite a bit, and we talked about it when we were filming it. Was the idea that Dustin, your character, and the marriage between you and Erica Hovland's character is sort of, it should be this perfect thing because it's this picture perfect thing, and that you guys are married and you have a kid. And there's a certain level of respect in the way you guys, you're very conservative in the way you approach and discuss and talk to one another. And then the idea was that there was this completely different dynamic that Nick wanted to get across with my character and my character, and his wife, played by Madison Merlanti, and how I'm just sort of jarring, I'm a little bit jocular in the way I behave, I'm not careful with my tongue and what I say and how I present myself, and a little aggressive, and yet, even though, like you said, he's kind of a jackass, but in that sense, our marriage is so much stronger, Madison and I's versus Dustin and Erica in that scene. And I think that's a brilliant scene where you got great writing. Sai shot the shit. I'm sorry, forgive me. Sai Abdul-Nur, amazing cinematographer, did such an amazing
awesome.
job.
Yeah.
Pete Peloso, who did that, he was the gaffer for that. Oh my God, the whole thing, and then to get the four of us, because we were so, and the four of us are so completely different too. That was a great scene. But to answer your question, a lot of wine.
I love that scene too, because it's such a heavy film, and that scene was the funniest scene, I think, and it really broke up a lot of. It just showed like levity in there, so it was a beautiful scene.
I went on for like 10 minutes. Madison and I kept cracking jokes, and Dustin was really laughing at that point. And I remember he was just like, but I couldn't tell if Dustin was laughing in character. He was just like, I can't believe Sam is saying this stuff. Like, there's some dangerous areas that I went afterwards that I don't know. you know, but my character's not supposed to be he's not a kosher guy. He just kind of,
Right.
No filter. Yeah.
No, we'll do a spin-off. We'll do the life of Chris. Where did he go? So.
Right. Well, no, that's awesome, and it's really cool knowing a bit more background knowledge on that scene, because I love that scene, and I felt like it really helped set more of the tone going forward of like what was going to happen with the final dynamic and everything else that happens. So I wanted to ask you all kind of individually. Michael, we'll start with yourself first. So you have starred in Bone Tomahawk with Kurt Russell. For people that don't know, you've done a lot of TV work, you've done some shorts and help producing. So I kind of want to get everyone's perspective one at a time of when you guys are involved in different projects, so whether it's like in a movie, TV series, etc., how do you find changing your role for that project that you're doing? And is it as easy transition, or is it difficult, or?
Well, the last few projects I've played not so good people. But yeah, it can get.
We all love not so good people, as you can see.
No, you can fall into a trap for sure. I mean, playing the same thing the same way. So I try to find different nuances and subtleties in each character. Like I watch a lot of documentaries. I watch how someone walks, how they talk, how they pick up a pencil, how they sit, their tone. I like to change my tone a bit. I love accents too. I love throwing in different accents. Where the film takes place too is important to me. Like if they're shooting on the East Coast or down south or, out west or something like that, I like to place my accent in that particular area, which helps with the physicality of the role too. So if I have like a Southern accent, my shoulders tend to, roll forward a bit. I'm more nonchalant. If I have like a more Boston or New York accent, I'm more on guard. I'm more observant of what's going on around me. So yeah, there's all different things that you could throw in there and do. So yeah, I kind of just play with every character and just try to make it different and fun, because we're artists, right? We don't want to paint the same painting over and over again. And that's boring. It's boring to me. I don't like playing the same thing over and over again. So if I do get dark roles, I like to incorporate weird, crazy shit in there,
Yeah, no, that's awesome, and it's good to have that variety for all you guys. You don't want to just play, say, a comedic role every single movie role.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong, some people do, and that's fine. But
yeah.
It's good to challenge yourselves. And Dustin, so for yourself, you have also helped do production on Last Call a couple of years ago, and now you're taking this into Sam. So how have you found your journey of doing production and then going into acting, and are you wanting to do production going forward in the future?
I do not want to produce ever again the rest of my life.
Right. Was it that bad?
And Last Call, I was the guy. I was the producer and one of the lead roles, and I will never do that ever again. That was I almost pulled my hair out. So I have a big appreciation for what Sam and Alex did, and still does. But yeah, if I'm in a film, it's going to be strictly acting. I'm not going to produce anymore. Yeah. Right. I may throw some money towards the film, but other than that, I don't care to be listed as a producer. I don't want to do producing things. I just want to act, and that's it.
Right. Well, that's fair enough. At least you've got to experience that side for if you ever had an interest, at least, right?
Yeah. No, it was worth it. It was worth it. Without Last Call, I would have never. Sam would have never seen me on social media, and I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you right now. So I have a lot to.
Wow.
Yeah. So Last Call, it was a big part of my film career.
I think it's awesome. Really important though for everyone, if you're an actor, to do something behind the scenes at least once. And the reason I say that is, like, a lot of actors will come, what do you, I'm like, dude, even if it was to be a production assistant on, a $50 million studio picture, and all you were doing was, you were organizing whether, traffic and coming back and forth, or paperwork for the union talent, or you were a runner in the production office, whatever it might be, to like the reason is, because it allows you to see what happens behind the scenes and how it happens. You know, one of the things that Nick and I literally had a conversation about last night about Dustin, just so you know, but we said, I can't wait to put that guy in something again because he really gets it. And I want to credit Michael and Dustin because they've seen what, you know, we go through behind the scenes, and they are a lot more catering. A little bit more catering to our, you know, where we might be emotionally in a moment, you know, because the chaos of a film set is, I mean, listen, there's a lot, especially what we're doing, and we've got all these different players. We've got, you know, local law enforcement that we're working with, local municipalities that we're, you know, in the permitting process, and we have all these different actors and all the different crew, and then we have to do, and some people are breaking it different. These guys really get it, you know, and they're, you know, like when we had, I remember both the New York premiere and Detroit premiere that Dustin came out to, he's going to now have the premiere down in his hometown. They were so relaxed, and they were like, listen, we get what Nick and Sam and all these guys are, and you said Alex, all these guys are going through, because there's a lot of chaos behind the scenes that I think every act, and equally so, I always tell people who want to be like, if you want to be a production designer, you want to be a composer, you want to be a set dresser, whatever, also get an idea of what it is for the actors, because for guys like Michael, you might just be a prop master, but you don't understand that something so small or little is a big deal to someone like that, who is taking his role seriously, and these guys are just true professionals. So that's what I'm trying to say.
I think there's a lot of actors that need to realize it's not all about them. I think it's probably honestly about 20% about the actor. I mean, honestly, I think, you know, and not to take anything away from actors, I think anybody can get up there and regurgitate a script, but it's really the people, the crew, and the people behind the scenes, and the people in the post that what makes us, Michael and I and Scout and everyone else, look good. You know, I mean, it's all, like I've always said, it's all about angles and lighting, baby. It's all about angles and lighting.
He's right. He's right. Doing the selfie. We're selfie filming.
Exactly. Yeah.
But no, like, you guys are absolutely right, though, because as you said, Dustin, and you know, you guys have all touched on it, that, you know, you guys can show up on set, you know, you can have the script, you can see your lines, but without the cast and crew or even the catering department, you know, when we all get hungry, we all get a little bit, you know, angry as such, you know. So, you know, if you're not fed, then, you know, who knows how the production's gonna go. And
why do you think I was so pissed off throughout the whole film? Sam wouldn't get anything to eat.
They starved him on purpose. That's what Sam's role was.
Yeah, exactly.
Until the restaurant scene, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So one thing I wanted to ask you guys as well, in regards of an intrusion and kind of like your inspirations as such, because as you said, Michael, so you've worked on Bone Tom Hawk along with Kurt Russell. Simon, you've been on Batman v Superman, so the likes of, you know, Zack Snyder.
Yeah, that's a whole different,
yeah. But then also in this movie, though, you guys have got Scout Taylor Compton, you got Kay Gilchrist, you got Erica Hovland, you got all these. So who's been your biggest inspiration going into your acting or producing credits?
Well, you know, first off, no, shout out to Zack. Hey, you released the Snyder cut. I'm glad it happened. Hey, I still get my royalty checks every once in a while. I'll send Michael a text message. And like, well, Mike, I just got 10 cents for like Belgium or something for Batman. Or something.
Ethiopia or somewhere, yeah.
It's just something that, like, here's your 15, the Screen Actors Guild, here's your 15-cent check. You know, sometimes you can, So, but no, those movies are awesome. I mean, those films, you know, Michael's been on Shameless and some of the big show. When you get to do the bigger stuff, we're not gonna act like it's not fun. We love that, you know. But when you get to do this smaller stuff, I mean, we all have to wear multiple hats sometimes, or at least, like you said, be patient with other people who wear multiple hats. Inspiration wise, I mean, I grew up. There's the romantic notion, and by romantic notion, I'm referring to the idea of that sort of the filmmakers from the 60s and 70s is, you know, and I don't mean to sound trite, but, you know, these guys, you know, from the American New Wave, French New Wave, all these guys we're kind of behaving in the same way. It's the world's our oyster, right? We grab all our camera gear and we go out. We don't need a studio. We go find real locations. So much of this movie was like physical, practical location shooting, you know, which was great. Awesome. We get to accentuate our production value that way. But I'm personally behind the scenes. I'm a fan of those kinds of, you know, there's a lot of people that kind of, you know, they don't like the big budget thing kind of, but I've always enjoyed watching that machine and how that works, because I think there's things you can borrow from that and pull into indie film. So even if you're doing like a movie that's like, let's say under $500,000 or under $250,000 or whatever it might be, you can still borrow some of those processes,
right,
and pull things from them, and yeah, you know, but that I, you know, I guess if I make any sense there with,
yeah. Yeah, like, yeah, obviously what you guys take from each different kind of film and experience, you can bring that to your next role or your next production credit, whatever it should be, because you're obviously learning on the job every single role that you do, whether it's a minor role, major role. I can only imagine.
I mean, as a producer, when you're standing there and you're just hoping, again, I can't, we were all so thrilled that Billy Boyd and Scout and Keir were doing this, you know, Keir Gilchrist, of course, being the star of a hit Netflix series that's in its 4th season, and he's the title star of the show. We were sitting there and thinking to ourselves every once in a while, like, should we pamper all these guys a little more? Like, are we doing it right? Like, you know, because, you know, the bigger sets, obviously, listen, you know, I mean, there's more, the function of having more assets and toys around are always, you know, so here, like I said, but here it was more Mike, Dustin, is that kind of how it's a community again? Like, so that's why I say it was more of the community of film and actor people and artists, as opposed to,
honestly, I've lost track of what the fuck the question was.
Well, basically, I was kind of.
I saw Dustin try not to laugh, so I was just like.
Well, basically, Dustin, the question was, who kind of on your projects you worked on in the past, who's been your biggest inspiration for your role in this movie or?
Dustin Prince inspires me every day. I wake up in the morning and I literally start doing push-ups because I want to see if I can get those pecs.
Right.
Just eat a lot of bacon. That's all you got to do.
But yeah, Dustin, so who's been your biggest inspiration?
Me. I'm Dustin.
Sam, right.
I tell you, when I was 8 or 9 years old, my father allowed me to watch One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. And that was one of the one films that just I fell in love with, and the actors that was in it, because as a kid watching it, I was thinking, you know, these people are really mental patients, but they weren't. They were actors, and that just inspired me. I'm like, holy shit, these guys really are good at what they do, and right. And, you know, I've just been a big film buff my whole life. But about 6 years ago, I just finally just said, you know what, let's go for it. Let's take all this practice and real life. And, you know, there's a lot of people ask me, it's like, you know, where do you get this? Where do you get that from? I'm like, from real life. I'm going to be 47 in August. So I've pretty much been through just about anything you could possibly imagine. I've been in the military. I've done fear and sadness and all this stuff. So I think as an actor, you have all these different emotions at the tip of your tongue that could come out at any moment. So any scene, you know, you're ready for it. Wouldn't you agree, Michael?
Yeah. Life experience is huge. That's the biggest, you know, I've taken classes before, one-on-one coaching and stuff like that. But I feel like Dustin just said, the more you live and the more you experience things, the better actor you're going to be. And you can apply those to your art and craft. So, I mean, my inspiration, I mean, I'm a huge Mickey Rourke fan. I love Rumblefish. It's one of my favorite movies. 1983, it was made. It's in black and white. Francis Coppola made it. And yeah, I mean, that he's always been a huge acting inspiration for me. So I try to not, you know, just see his work and how he works, and he makes really amazing choices in his performances.
The Wrestler.
The Wrestler was great. Yeah, The Wrestler was amazing.
Let me tell you something. Yeah. I watch The Wrestler probably once a month just because of the way it's shot and how he played that character. Is just unreal.
Just so much pain. It's so visceral. I mean, he had a rough go in life too. And like Dustin just said, I mean, he uses his life experience in his work, and it shows. I mean, there's just so much inside of him, which I appreciate, because it's just so real, and you know, everything he does is believable, and I like his choices he makes with roles back when he was, you know, in the 80s, 90s, early 2000s and stuff like that. But I also love Titanic. I love DiCaprio, so I don't know. Like, I love the romantic kind of. I remember I went to go see that movie in 7th grade with my 7th grade girlfriend, and it was filled with women. I think I was the only guy in there, and they were all crying at the end. Yeah, I mean, I was like, I want to do what he's doing. Like, he just affected the whole audience, and yeah, I mean, those two probably are my two favorites, inspirational.
You know,
artists.
Nick and I will sit down and talk about like all the like artsy like art house directors that we, you know, which is funny because I mean, so much of there was a cerebral nature to an Intrusion, but you know, and we'll sit down and talk about Krzysztof Kieslowski, you know, and you know, Asghar Farhadi and all his new movies, and you know, you know, which is kind of, you know, it might sound kind of like, but you know, but honestly, there's so much of what's going on, you know, in Europe, especially with a lot of really amazing filmmakers behind the scenes. I'm really looking forward to seeing. I just got my screener for Belfast, Kenneth Branagh. Like, there's just that I cannot, you know, there's amazing filmmakers out there. I mean, you know, these guys are obviously inspired by a lot of actors. For us, you know, we act too, but also from the filmmaking perspective, new directors and new voices. I remember when I saw Kate Shortland's, you know, Somersault for the first time, like, you know, and I was just kind of like, I cannot believe like that, what I just saw, that was one of the most, you know, personal, hyper, you know, emotion, like the cinematography was emotional. Like you felt emotion through the way the camera moved, and that kind of stuff is always amazing for us. Speaking on behalf of the more behind the scenes people. Yeah. But I mean, just brilliant stuff.
Yeah, awesome. And it's really cool to hear that you guys have all different inspirations for who's inspired you acting or producing wise. And that's really, really cool. One thing I want to ask you guys is, Dustin, we'll start with you first. So if you could describe to anyone who hasn't heard of an intrusion whatsoever, what is one word you would use to describe an intrusion besides intrusion?
Chaos.
Chaos. Michael, what about you?
Oh, I can't follow that up. That was really good. Heart pounding.
Awesome. And Sam, what about yourself?
Gosh, hair raising.
Okay.
Just sort of anthemic and just sort of. I don't know. I'm trying to figure out. I mean, you know, Dustin really hit it on the head there. But I mean,
yeah, thanks a lot. I couldn't even follow that up.
I mean, it's. I think I said it a little. You know, how about stirringly, cerebrally thrilling? That's
right.
because the film is. I said this before in another interview, but the film's such an amalgam of. I don't even know what kind of.
There's so much in there.
Genre. I know a lot of horror people really ripped onto it, but then the thriller people, and then there's all the folks that are like, I really like character films and sort of art, even because there's like the film it's a commercial film, but there's 10 to 15% art house thriller in there that's also, you know, Nick really did craft an amalgam of so many genres into one thing, and it's so
crazy.
I don't know. I mean, Dustin, I think wouldn't you say? I mean, that's kind of like just the genre wise. It's the elevator pitch is kind of difficult sometimes, and you know.
I don't think this film fits in just one genre. It's a hybrid of probably horror thriller. You know, there's a couple of funny scenes in there, but for the most part, it's horror thriller. Yeah,
for sure. There was
an article that compared something to Meet the Parents earlier yesterday, and I was like, Meet the Parents with Ben Stiller? Like, is that? But there was an actual. Did you see it? Okay. Well, Nick knows about it because Nick was like, you know, yeah, you know, I guess, you know, there was a comparison to.
I'm gonna go ahead and say that's bullshit. There's no way it's like.
No, that was a legit. Actually, I have it in print. Someone said this scene reminded me of like this Ben Stiller comedy. I was like, oh,
wow.
Oh,
I mean, I love Ben Stiller. So that's kind of cool.
I don't know about that one.
I mean, everyone takes something from it, so I don't know.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I've actually got two last questions for each of you guys. So, an Intrusion, of course, comes out tomorrow, and there is going to be in selected theaters. So, Dustin, I know that you're going to be at a premiere at one of the events. Is that correct?
Yeah, we have the Arkansas premiere December 7th.
December 7th. And
here in my hometown, which I'm very proud to say.
Arkansas
awesome.
is like Wales, by the way, for everyone in the UK. That's
okay.
It's the southern.
Good comparison. And Dustin, at the premiere where you're going to be out on December 7th, is any of the other cast, crew, directors going to be there, or is it just yourself?
I think it's just going to be me. Yeah.
Just going to be. Right, cool. Cool. Yeah. Just for anyone who comes across to that screen and wants to meet you or any of the others as well. So, and Michael, how about you? Are you going to be at any of the premieres at all?
Yeah, I'm hoping. I know Sam and I talked briefly about December, maybe a New York City one. I'll definitely be there for sure if it's popping off in December. I'm not just sure of the specifics, but if they have one in New York, I'll be there 100%. Yeah.
Yes, you will.
Sure.
Cool.
Sure. And Sam, about yourself?
Yeah. So Mike and I will plan. We already did the world premiere in New York City, but we're going to do another New York event, and then I think going to the Windy City in Chicago and we'll do something in LA. And then when the DVD and Blu-ray release on January 25th of 2022, we're probably all going to get together for some sort of DVD release party with all of us, because there's some going to be, special features on a sort of Blu-ray disc kind of premiere party kind of thing. You know what? Awesome. Every time you do something like that, it's a reason to party and get together. So I'll have a Blu-ray shipped to you if you want, Mike. We'll make sure to get you one. And
awesome. Yeah, I would love that. And sign by everyone.
It'll go around. I'll just send a DVD around to everyone so everyone can sign it. Yeah.
Man, that would be awesome. Yeah, I'll get a frame and it'll go on my wall back there.
We need a Dustin Prince Funko Pop.
Right. I would love that. And then the last question I've got for you guys is, we'll go one by one. So Dustin, we'll start with yourself. So after an Intrusion, have you got any projects that you're working on at the moment that you can tell us about?
No, nothing. I don't have anything right now.
Just chilling.
I mean, yeah, the film industry is, I think Sam and Michael can probably tell you, it's still a little slow right now. There's not much going on for me. Just doing my normal job and raising two daughters and going to basketball games and things like that, and watching them cheer. But other than that, I'm just kind of laying low and hoping everybody enjoys this film.
Awesome, man. Yeah, and I hope that you get an acting job soon, because you're fantastic as Sam Hodges in the movie. And it's the first ever role I've seen you in, so I want to see you in more stuff anyway. So I hope we see you in the future.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And Michael, what about yourself?
Yeah, I want to say something real fast. I think Dustin was the quarterback of this movie. He was unbelievable. It was so easy to play off him. I know we didn't have a chance to talk, but I saw the film in New York with Sam and Nick, and we were all just in awe of your performance. So you should be really proud of yourself, man. It was I'm proud of you, and so is everybody else. So
and Michael's not talking about this, but Michael and I have the same tattoo at the same spot on our body.
Isn't that weird? It's crazy.
No way.
Yeah.
Show it.
Hold on. Okay. Yeah.
Oh, awesome.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
It's wild. Sam didn't know that. Yeah, it's wild. Yeah.
I'm learning.
Like, what?
I got the same tattoo elsewhere. Hold on. Well, I think what I learned, and Mike, if anything, is I think what these two guys are saying is they're looking for a gig. So I guess I'm gonna have to get on producing.
Yeah, you do.
Listen, we're already, we're talking about all collaborating on something very, very, very soon. And obviously when something works, you keep it working, and Emery and Prince and, and Logan Khaleghi and Holland. And these are all names that you'll see on a one sheet again very soon. So,
awesome.
And maybe we'll dive into some other genres. We're talking about extreme horror. We're talking about Westerns. There's so many scripts and stories and everything's in front of us right now. And we're just trying to wrap our heads around what to do next. Can you imagine Dustin Prince on a horse? I can, with a little hat. And
Oh yeah. A cowboy for sure.
I can.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he started in a war film before, so I can see it.
I've actually auditioned for Yellowstone probably about 4 or 5 times and never gotten a role. So, we'll see.
You should play like Kevin Costner's brother or something, right? You know, I don't know.
It could be passed off for that.
Hey, you know what? Shout out to everybody in the UK who I went to Guildhall with in London. I just want to say, if I haven't seen you in years, so to my Guildhall fan, there you go.
Yeah, because me and Sam were talking before, and he's mentioned that he used to be in London for some time, so that's really awesome.
I miss the chocolate. I miss all the good chocolate, and then the pickles, and pretty much everything, all your side dishes and fish and chips. I mean, real fish and chips.
Yeah.
Right? Listen.
Right.
You know, so we got to come to the UK for a screening night. That's what we have to do.
That'd be awesome.
Definitely, I would be there. But yeah, I just want to take the time just to firstly just thank you guys all for just again sparing the time for me, and especially on Thanksgiving as well, just to talk about An Intrusion. I've checked out the movie. I love the movie. Again, it's coming out in America in theaters and on demand. As you said, like iTunes.
And the UK. The UK will be.
Yeah, when's it coming out in the UK?
Well, we just inked the deal. Like literally, the ink is still drying on the paper. But we're looking in the next month or so.
Cool.
And so thank you to Gravitas, but also thank you to Trinity and our partners there. And we'll get you all that information. But yeah, it's we just have amazing distribution partners all around, and sooner than later it'll kind of trickle everywhere. So yeah,
awesome. Well, if it definitely comes to the UK as well, I can definitely promote that to my UK audience as well. So I would go out to the cinema and go see it again. So, but yeah, I just want to just thank you guys for your time. And just before we wrap up, have you guys got any kind of final comments or anything you'd like to say?
Did you see that?
You see that? Right.
Subscribe, hit the like button, and please do that for this man. This guy, one of the greatest little, like, I seriously love your YouTube channel. Before we went live, we were in this little waiting room area, and I was just saying, when someone's like, yo, Mike from Mike Emery, hold on. Did I not text you immediately and say, wait, when did Mike get, tell him. I literally how excited I was.
Oh yeah, no, he sent me a message. It was on Instagram, and then he texted me right after, like 2 seconds. So I was looking at both Instagram and my text. I was like, oh shit. So Sam, yeah, I mean, I saw your videos too. It's
like, say it. I really love your channel. Is fantastic. Like,
it's stellar. Yeah.
So seriously,
thank you guys.
Your passion for film and being a cinephile, and you need to come geek out with all of us. We're going to Dustin's house,
right?
And we're
He's like,
awesome. Awesome. I'm in Florida next year, so
Dustin's got a game room and all kinds of cool stuff on his property, guys. Just to let you know.
Yeah, actually, I just want to give a shout out to, and this has nothing to do with An Intrusion, but I just want to give a shout out to Taylor Scott, who lives in Scotland, who wrote Last Call. Who, without that film, I wouldn't be in this film. So, Taylor, I love you, buddy. You did a great job, and he's a great friend of mine. And yeah, so without him, I wouldn't be sitting here with you guys.
No, awesome. Oh,
and also catch me on Station 19. It's an ABC show. I guest starred in that. It's going to be coming out December 16th on ABC Thursday night. So
and I guess that's through Trinity Creative Partnerships is our partners in the UK. Thanks to Jeff Cooper and everybody setting that up for us. And so nice. And we love all our friends in the UK. We love all our family in the UK. And again,
I want to go to the UK.
If anyone's out there and wants to send us, hey, can you send us a box of Mike? Can we get some curly whirlies and
Sure, I'll hook you guys up for the premiere and when you do the DVD launch.
We desperately need really good chocolates. So if you can send us, and then we'll send you some cool American stuff. We'll send you some the Region 1 Blu-rays and DVDs of stuff you're looking for.
Awesome.
You just gotta send us chocolate.
Yeah, it's a fair deal. Happy to do that. Yeah. But yeah, guys, so again, that has kind of been the stream. So again, just thanks to my guests Sam, Michael, and Dustin. Honestly, you guys have been awesome, and I'm just so hyped that you guys got back to me on Instagram and we're up for doing this as well. And for anyone watching, please check out An Intrusion, which is premiering in America tomorrow, so not long, and it coming over in the UK iTunes, possibly next month.
Amazon, iTunes, and again, thank you to Scout, Brian Espinosa with Billy and Kier and literally. From all of us here and all of us that we love you, and from Nick, thank you guys for joining us on the cinematic adventure. So,
absolutely.
Thanks so much, Mike. Dustin, Sam, love you guys.
Thank you, Michael. Good to see you, buddy.
Love you, man.
Yeah, good seeing you, dudes. And then we'll see you later.
All right, take